There are times when you want your watercolor mountains to fade discreetly into the background and let other subjects take center stage, but sometimes you need your mountains to step up and become the main attraction. Today, we'll be working on two paintings to demonstrate the different approaches you may want to take depending on your desired outcome. In this first painting, I'll be showing you an example of background mountains. I started out by wetting down my entire paper and then dropping in ultramarine for the sky. Now I'm adding a bit of undersea green and yellow ochre in the foreground just to establish somewhat of a meadow or a field. And by the way, I'm using 140-pound cold press watercolor paper, and I've cut it down to a 4-inch by 6-inch size. And now for the mountains, I'm using a mix of gray titanium and ultramarine, a light value. You can see how the edges of the mountains are melting away, creating a very soft look. I'm using more of that undersea green and yellow ochre mix, but with less water than I used for the field, so the value is darker. With an angle brush, I'm tapping the angled side to the paper, letting the color spread out a bit for those distant trees. And now, with a clean, damp brush, I'm softening the bottoms of the trees, letting them become one with the grass. I'll just throw a couple of larger trees in the foreground before we get back to the mountains. Okay, the mountains have dried. And although I love how soft they are, we really don't have any definition or depth, so we're going to fix that. Same colors as before, ultramarine and gray titanium, less water, so darker values. I've wiped most of the paint off on a paper towel, so I won't come in too heavy-handed. And with a clean, damp brush, I'm softening. See how we're left with a nice shadow? I'll bring that shadow onto the right side just a little here and there, but I'm mainly focusing on the left. And now back to the foreground. I'm bringing in some grass and flowers. For the birds in flight, I'm using Bloodstone Genuine. A mix of Bloodstone Genuine and Ultramarine for these little flowers I'm tapping in here. Okay, now before we finish up this first painting, I do want to repeat the same process on the mountains. So once again, we're going over just the left side where it's going to be the darkest, and we're using ultramarine and gray titanium, and I'm just barely putting a little hint on the right side as well. Just bringing in a little bit of structure, but not too much, and then softening where I need to with that clean, damp brush. Okay, so that completes painting number 1. So these muted background mountains are perfect for any time you want your viewer to pay more attention to the foreground. Is your main subject a cabin in the woods, or maybe a family of deer? Any situation where you don't want too much emphasis on your mountains and you want the viewer to be looking at something else instead. Let's move on to painting number 2, the focal mountains. In this case, the mountains themselves are the reason you are painting. You want your viewers to notice the beauty of the mountain range right off the bat. The mountains are not an afterthought. Now, that doesn't mean that the peaks have to be ginormous and take up the whole page. It also doesn't mean that you can't include anything else in your painting. It just means that we are going to make sure they pop, that they stand out and make themselves known. You've likely already noticed that I'm painting wet on dry this time around. I could have painted a sky first and then let it dry, but either way, sky or no sky, the important part here is that I'm choosing to paint my mountains onto dry paper. Now, you can certainly start with wet on wet here if you prefer, but I've found that it's much easier to get the desired effect and definition when I do it this way. You'll recall from the first painting, the mountains melt away with wet on wet, so I figure why not start with more structure if that's the look that we're going for. I'm bringing my water down past the base of the mountains so that I can achieve a soft look when I add my forest. Because the mountains are the focus, I don't want all of the trees to be too crisp. And once again, dropping those trees in with my angle brush. Oh, and by the way, for this second painting, I will be using the same palette of colors with the addition of a little bit of turquoise for my mountains, as well as some turquoise for the final trees. Let's add the first round of shadows to the mountains. Like the first painting, I'm keeping the left sides of the peaks darker, meaning my sunlight must be coming from somewhere on the right. And like before, the color I'm adding now is darker in value than the first wash. If you feel like some of your shadows are too harsh, you can come in with that clean, damp brush to soften, but for the most part, I want to keep these details more defined than we did in painting number 1. So if I soften too much, we can lose some of that pop. The third mountain layer is even darker in value than before, but I'm not covering everything. I only want to cover the sections where I want the contrast to be most noticeable, like just barely on the other side of the peaks, opposite from where the sun hits the mountainside. This next step is totally optional, of course, but I'm using some white gouache for a light covering of snow. I like the contrast between the dark shadows and the light snow. It's another way that we're going to make sure these mountains are the most interesting part of the picture. I'll likely put on one more layer of that white gouache once that's dry. And to finish up, I'm just going to be adding some trees, but I will be keeping these very simple and not doing much in the way of depth or details, so they'll take a back seat to our mountains. Okay, and here we have the final result. More crisp details, more contrast, and of course, more values. And let's take a final look comparing both types of mountains. Background versus focal. Well, I hope you found this video useful, and the next time you're looking to paint mountains, ask yourself if you want your mountains to be the star of the show or the helpful sidekick. Thank you for watching.